Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! Lucas stared at the mirror in his small apartment bathroom, the fluorescent light casting a harsh glow on his reflection. His hands trembled slightly as he adjusted the blonde wig, ensuring it sat perfectly over his own short hair. The strands fell in soft waves, framing his face in a way that softened his features. He had practiced this for weeks, watching tutorials late into the night, learning how to blend makeup to highlight his cheekbones and soften his jawline. The pink cardigan felt light against his skin, its buttons neatly fastened over a simple white blouse, and the floral skirt swayed gently as he moved, the fabric brushing against his legs. This wasn't just a disguise. It was a statement, a rebellion against the endless barrage of his father's words echoing in his mind.
"You're not man enough, Lucas. Toughen up."
He took a deep breath, stepping back to assess the full effect. Harper looked back at him, confident, poised, ready to infiltrate the very world that had belittled him. His father, Richard, ran a mid-sized marketing firm downtown, a place where success was measured in sharp suits and firm handshakes. Lucas had grown up hearing stories of boardroom conquests, but whenever he tried to step into that world, Richard dismissed him as too soft, too indecisive. This plan would flip the script. If gender expectations were so rigid, he'd show how absurd they were by excelling in a role his father would never suspect. The next morning, Harper walked into the towering glass building that housed Richard's company, her heels clicking softly on the marble floor. She had crafted a resume under the name Harper Ellis, highlighting skills in organization and creative problem-solving, skills Lucas had honed in his freelance work but never gotten credit for at home. The receptionist smiled warmly as Harper approached the front desk. "I'm here for the administrative assistant interview," Harper said, her voice pitched higher, practiced to sound natural and feminine. The interview room was stark, with a long table and chairs that seemed designed for intimidation. Richard wasn't conducting it himself. That was handled by his HR manager, a stern woman named Elaine. She scanned the resume, nodding approvingly. "You have an impressive background in project coordination," Elaine noted. "Tell me about your experience with tight deadlines." Harper leaned forward, her blonde hair catching the light. "In my last role, I managed a team through a product launch that was behind schedule. I reorganized the workflow, delegated tasks based on strengths, and we delivered 2 days early. Efficiency comes from attention to detail and empathy, understanding what motivates people." Elaine's eyes lit up. "That's exactly what we need here. Thompson values precision." By the end of the day, Harper had the job offer in hand. She started the following Monday, assigned directly to Richard's executive team. The office buzzed with activity, phones ringing, keyboards clacking, the scent of fresh coffee permeating the air. Harper's desk was just outside Richard's corner office, a prime spot for observation. On her first day, Richard emerged from his office, barking orders to a group of junior staff. He was a tall man in his 50s, with salt and pepper hair and a perpetual scowl that deepened when things didn't go his way. He glanced at Harper, who was already sorting through a stack of reports.
"You must be the new assistant,"
he said gruffly.
"Harper, right? Don't mess this up. I need those client files organized by noon."
Harper smiled politely, her heart racing beneath the pink cardigan.
"Of course, Mr. Thompson. I'll have them ready."
She dove into the task, her fingers flying over the keyboard as she cross-referenced data and flagged inconsistencies. By 11, the files were not only organized, but annotated with suggestions for follow-ups. Richard reviewed them, his eyebrows rising in surprise.
This is thorough,
he admitted, almost reluctantly.
Good work. Keep it up.
It was the first praise Lucas had ever heard from his father, even if it was directed at Harper. The irony fueled her determination. Over the next few weeks, Harper became indispensable. She anticipated needs before they arose, preparing meeting agendas with bullet point precision, suggesting innovative marketing angles that drew from her hidden knowledge of the company's history. Colleagues noticed. Whispers spread about the new hire who was making waves. One afternoon, during a strategy session, Richard paced the conference room, frustrated with a stalled campaign. We need fresh ideas. This is going nowhere. Harper raised her hand tentatively. What if we pivot to user-generated content? Encourage clients to share stories on social media. It builds authenticity. Richard stopped pacing, considering. That's not half bad. Run with it, Harper. Make it happen. The campaign took off, earning the firm a new contract. Richard called her into his office afterward, closing the door for privacy.
You're a natural,
he said, a rare smile breaking through.
Most assistants just follow orders. You think ahead. If my son had half your drive, he'd be set.
Harper's stomach twisted at the mention, but she kept her composure. Thank you, sir. I just want to contribute. As days turned into months, Harper's role expanded. She handled client calls with a calm assurance, her floral skirt becoming a familiar sight in the office hallways. She joined team lunches, laughing at jokes and sharing light anecdotes about a fictional past. The blonde wig felt less like a prop and more like an extension of herself, the way it framed her face, making her feel seen in a way Lucas never had. One evening, after a long day, Harper lingered in the break room, sipping tea. A coworker, Sarah, joined her. You're killing it here, Harper. Thompson sings your praises in every meeting. It's rewarding, Harper replied, her voice steady. I feel like I belong. Sarah nodded. You do. Hey, the company party's coming up. You should come in something fancy. Show off that style of yours. The party was the perfect stage for the reveal. Harper spent the weekend preparing, selecting a sophisticated burgundy dress that hugged her figure elegantly, the fabric shimmering under light. She paired it with subtle jewelry and ensured her makeup was flawless, the blonde hair cascading in loose waves. The event was held in a grand ballroom, chandeliers sparkling overhead, tables laden with hors d'oeuvres and champagne flutes. Colleagues mingled in suits and gowns, laughter echoing off the walls. Richard arrived early, greeting guests with handshakes and backslaps. When Harper entered, heads turned. The dress accentuated her poise, and she moved through the crowd with grace. Richard spotted her across the room and waved her over. Harper, you clean up nice. Join us. I'm toasting the team's success, and you're a big part of it. She smiled, accepting a glass. As the evening progressed, Richard pulled her aside near the balcony, the city lights twinkling below. I have to say, you've changed things around here, he confessed. Your attention to detail, your initiative. It's what I've always wanted in an employee. Hell, in a child. Harper's pulse quickened. This was the moment. She took a deep breath, her voice soft but firm. Dad, it's me. Lucas. Richard's face froze, confusion giving way to recognition as he studied her features, the eyes, the subtle mannerisms. What? This is some kind of joke? No joke, Harper said, standing tall in the burgundy dress. I applied as Harper to prove a point. All those times you said I wasn't man enough? Look at what I've accomplished like this. Fury flashed in Richard's eyes, his voice rising. You deceived me? The whole office? This is ridiculous! People nearby turned, whispers starting. Richard grabbed her arm, pulling her to a quieter corner. How could you do this? Dressing like that, pretending... But as he ranted, something shifted. He saw the efficiency reports, the successful campaigns, all tied to Harper. The praise he'd given freely, the respect he'd shown. His anger cracked, revealing shame. I treated you differently, better, because I thought you were her. Harper met his gaze. Exactly. Gender shouldn't define capability, but living as Harper, it feels right. More right than Lucas ever did. Richard slumped against the wall, the weight of his words sinking in. I've been blind, pushed you away because of my own outdated ideas. If this is who you are, then I'm sorry. I support you. From that night on, Harper embraced her truth. She began her transition, consulting doctors and therapists, her father's encouragement, a surprising anchor. He attended appointments with her, learning about hormone therapy and the steps ahead. At work, the revelation spread, but with Richard's backing, the office adapted. Harper continued excelling, her blonde hair a constant, her wardrobe evolving to include more professional dresses and blouses. Months passed, and Harper's confidence grew. She led projects, mentored new hires, her voice carrying authority in meetings. One day, as she reviewed a new campaign in her office, now her own space, Richard knocked on the door.
How's it going?
He asked, a genuine warmth in his tone. Better than ever, she replied, smiling. Their relationship mended, built on mutual respect. Harper discovered layers of herself she'd never explored, from fashion choices to personal interests that aligned with her identity. She joined support groups, sharing her story anonymously, finding community. Yet, as time went on, challenges arose. A major client questioned the firm's stability after hearing rumors of the unusual hire. Richard defended her fiercely in a tense board meeting, arguing that talent transcended appearances. We focus on results, he declared.
Harper delivers them.
The client relented, but it highlighted ongoing prejudices. Harper pushed forward, her transition progressing with medical guidance. She experienced the subtle changes, softer skin, shifting emotions, and navigated them with grace. Socially, she expanded her circle. At a local cafe, she met Alex, a graphic designer from a rival firm, during a networking event. Their conversation flowed easily, from marketing trends to personal aspirations. You're inspiring, Alex said over coffee. Breaking barriers like that. Harper blushed under her blonde waves. It's just being true to myself. Their friendship deepened, with shared lunches and collaborative ideas. Richard noticed, teasing lightly. Looks like you've got an admirer. It's professional, she insisted, though a spark lingered. Work demands intensified with a high-stakes merger. Harper coordinated details late into nights, her burgundy dress from the party now a staple for important occasions. During a crucial presentation, she stood before executives, her voice steady. This merger will synergize our strengths, she explained, charts displaying her meticulous data. Applause followed, solidifying her role. Richard beamed from the sidelines. Home life transformed, too. Richard invited her for family dinners, cooking meals and listening to her experiences.
Tell me more about your day,
He'd say, genuinely interested. Harper shared, from office triumphs to transition milestones. The hormones are helping me feel more aligned.
I'm proud,
He replied, eyes misty. But not all was smooth. A family relative, Aunt Clara, visited and reacted poorly, her conservative views clashing. This is unnatural, she snapped during dinner. Richard intervened.
Harper is my daughter. If you can't accept that, leave.
Clara stormed out, but it strengthened their bond. Harper explored hobbies, taking painting classes where her floral skirts blended with artists' smocks. She created pieces reflecting her journey, abstract swirls of color symbolizing change. One evening, as she painted alone, a knock came. It was Sarah from work, holding wine. "Girls' night, you deserve a break." They talked for hours, sharing laughs and advice. "You've changed the office dynamic," Sarah said. "More inclusive now." Community involvement grew. Harper volunteered at LGBTQ+ centers, mentoring youth facing similar struggles. "Your story matters," she'd tell them, her blonde hair a beacon of hope. Professionally, she advanced to project manager, overseeing teams with empathy and precision. In a review, Richard wrote, "Harper exemplifies excellence." Personal growth continued. She updated her wardrobe, adding elegant pantsuits that maintained her feminine style, always dressed as her true self. A turning point came during a company retreat in the mountains. Cabins dotted the landscape, team-building exercises fostering unity. Harper led a workshop on inclusive leadership, her words resonating. That night, by the campfire, Richard pulled her aside. "I was wrong for so long. Thank you for showing me." Tears welled in her eyes. "We're in this together." As the retreat ended, a new opportunity arose, a promotion to department head. Harper accepted, excited for the challenge, but whispers of corporate espionage surfaced. A competitor seemed to know internal strategies. Harper investigated discreetly, her attention to detail uncovering clues. One late night in the office, poring over files, she found a suspicious email trail. "This could be big," she murmured. Confronting Richard, she presented evidence. "We have a leak." His face paled. "Handle it carefully. We can't afford scandal." Harper delved deeper, coordinating with IT to trace the source. Tensions rose as deadlines loomed. In a heated meeting, accusations flew. A junior staffer, Mark, shifted nervously. "I didn't do anything." But data pointed to him. Harper remained composed. "Let's get the facts." As investigations proceeded, Harper balanced this with her transition, attending therapy sessions where she processed emotions. "It's affirming," she told her therapist, "but the stress is real." Support from Alex helped. They met for walks, discussing life beyond work. "You're handling everything so well," Alex said. A bond formed, hinting at more. The espionage resolved when Mark confessed to minor indiscretions, not full betrayal. The firm tightened security, crediting Harper. Celebrations followed, with Richard toasting her at a dinner. "To my daughter, the hero." Life settled into a rhythm. Harper's transition advanced, with name changes official and wardrobe fully feminine. Dresses, skirts, blouses in soft hues. She explored dating cautiously, going on a few outings with Alex, who respected her pace.
No rush,
he said. Family holidays became joyful, Richard decorating with care.
This is our new tradition.
Yet, Underlying currents stirred. A national conference invited Harper to speak on diversity in business. Preparing her speech, she reflected on her path. At the event, on stage in a tailored dress, blonde hair shining, she shared, "Identity shouldn't limit potential." The audience applauded, but backstage, a reporter approached. "Any challenges?" "Always," she admitted, "but support makes the difference." Returning home, she found Richard waiting with news. "The board wants you for VP." Excitement bubbled, but so did doubt. Could she handle the scrutiny? Hope you enjoyed the story so far. The rest will be available on Patreon.